मृदंगा पर रहेगा तो इट विल गेट बूम बूम साउंड. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome everybody to this Sri Ram Navami celebrations. So very happy to see all of you here today in good numbers, and I can see many of you are also bringing in your bhogas for Lord Ram. Those who are online, can you hear me properly? If you can hear me properly and see me clearly, can you please raise your hands to confirm? Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we will start this auspicious Ram Navami celebrations with some Kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, 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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhare, Jaya Girivaradhare, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhare, Jaya Girivaradhare. Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana. Yamuna Tera Vanachari, Yamuna Tera Vanachari, Yamuna Tera Vanachari, Yamuna Tera Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Gopijan Vallabha Giridhar. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Gopijan Vallabha Giridhar. Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Gopijan Vallabha Giridhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Gopijan Vallabha Giridhari. Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yashodanandana Brajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. Gandharve ka giridhare, Gandharve ka giridhare, Gandharve ka giridhare, Gaura Hare. Jaya Gandharve ka giridhare, Gandharve ka giridhare, Gandharve ka giridhare, Gaura. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। श्री राम नवमी महोत्सव की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। Hare Krishna. So welcome everybody to this Ram Navami Mahotsav. All those who are coming for the first time, how many of you are coming for the first time today? Very happy to see you. I hope that you live nearby, and I hope that on days other than Ram Navami also you will visit the center. We request you to visit every Sunday, attend the sessions, take part in the discussions, have prasad. It's not that Ram Navami is the only special day in our life, and then next year on Ram Navami only I'll come again. Not like that. Every Sunday is an auspicious day. So the children can remain a little quiet. If they cannot remain quiet, then there should be some engagement for the children. Otherwise, we cannot continue. Okay. So today is Sri Ram Navami, and let's begin today's auspicious session by taking shelter of the Acharyas, the teachers who have taught us everything about the Supreme Lord. So I will chant some pranam mantras, offering my gratitude towards all the teachers who have taught me the spiritual knowledge which I'm going to discuss today and share with all of you for my own purification. Those who know this, they can repeat with me. Those who don't, they can just try to hear it attentively. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वत देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. So thank you everybody once again. We are here to discuss the name, form, qualities and pastimes of Lord Rama, who is non-different from Krishna. Today in the afternoon, I was giving a short talk to some kids and they asked me some very nice questions. So I thought of basing my entire discussion today on the questions which those kids have asked, hoping that those inquiries will also be fruitful for the others who are here. Lord Ram's every aspect of life is so good that a person in every walk of life can learn and try to inculcate those great qualities. Whether it is the life as a student, or the life as a friend, or the life as a son, or the life as a husband, or the life as a king, or the life as a brother. In any kind of relationship, if you want to see perfection, Lord Ram is the ideal figure to look at. So Sri Ramchandra appeared 3 yuga cycles before. So this is the 28th yuga cycle. There is Satyug, there is Treta, there is Dwapar, and there is Kali. So the combination of these 4 yugas is known as one Divya Yuga. So this is the 28th. In one day of Brahma, there are 1000 Divya Yuga cycles. And in the 28th Divya Yuga cycle, Lord Krishna appears, and we are all situated in the 28th Divya Yuga in the 7th Manvantara. So Lord Ram actually does not appear in the 28th Yuga cycle. He appears in the 24th Yuga cycle. That means at least this Kali Yuga, the previous 4 Kali Yugas before, Lord Ram had actually appeared. This is something which many people don't know. So kindly appreciate the glories of Lord Ram. He has appeared millions, and one yuga lasts, Kali Yuga lasts for 4,32,000 years. And double of that is Dwapar, and triple of Kali Yuga is Treta, and 4 times the lifespan of Kali Yuga is Satyuga. So like that, if you calculate, 4 Divya Yugas ago, Lord Ram had appeared, and till now we are discussing about him. Do you know a name of a person who appeared 4 Divya Yugas before, and we are still, sorry? I cannot hear you. I still cannot hear you. Purushottama means Lord Ram. So, I mean, I'm just saying that all of us who are sitting here, probably even during our lifetime or the moment we die, everybody is going to forget us. But Lord Ram is not that kind of a personality. He is still there in the hearts of everybody, in the minds of everybody, in the words. And they are discussing about him. They are dedicating their lives to his service. So it's a very nice occasion. Today is Sri Ram Navami. I'm considering myself very fortunate that I've got an opportunity to glorify Lord Ram. And all of you are also very fortunate that you have come here to discuss and hear such things. You could have, today is a Sunday, you could have been anywhere else. You could have been doing anything else. The mind always cheats us by saying that the other important activities which we have, they are so important that Lord Ram can be put aside. Lord Krishna can be put aside. But it is great fortune that somehow or the other, by the supreme mercy of the Supreme Lord Krishna, Ram, you are here. This is not something very ordinary. So in this extraordinary environment, in this extraordinary circumstances, let's start the discussion of Ram Navami. So Lord Ram, yesterday I was talking about how he was Rajiv Lochana. The moment the sun would set, he would also go to rest. Actually, that was not just his characteristic, but in earlier ages, the moment the sun sets, people actually go to rest. In villages, I think still this is happening. Maximum by 8 p.m., everybody goes to sleep. And then everybody is awake 2:30, 3 a.m. and they start their work. They clean the house, they milk the cows, they do their sadhana, whatever, Sandhya Vandanam, chanting, japa, and then they go to their work, and then they come back, have a little rest, have some prasad. And then in the evening, as soon as the sun sets, the entire village assembles in one place to hear from the Bhagavad Gita, from the Bhagavatam, from the Ramayana. And that, in a sense, is the culture of Vedic India. That, in a sense, is the culture of the Vedic times, basically. everybody, especially in the Indian subcontinent, it was a agrarian civilization where agriculture was given a lot of importance. So everybody was self-sufficient. It was the observation of one of the British officials 150 years ago that there was no beggar in India. Nobody would beg because everybody was sufficient enough to have their own rice, their own pulses, their own cereals and everything. And they had, every householder had at least 20-30 cows with them. And they had their own land, they had their own cows, they had their own grain stock, which would last for years together. Some time ago in Chennai, some floods had come. So I had some friends in Chennai, they were calling me and they were sharing their realizations with me. That look, I have so much money in my bank account. But it turns out that everything is just a piece of paper. Now when I'm drowning, now when there is no help for me, I cannot eat that piece of paper. I realize that real wealth is the stock of grains which should be there in someone's house. So therefore, in the Vedic civilization, the wealth of a person is not measured by the amount of paper or the amount of pieces of metal or gold they have. The wealth is measured only by two things: the amount of grain stock which you have in your house and the amount of, or the number of cows which you have. Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, would always say that if anybody has an acre of land or half an acre of land and one cow, then that person is independent. He can just grow his crops. He can make his own clothes. He can milk the cow and drink and remain healthy. And then he can do whatever he wants in life. So the culture of Vedic India was like that. People would work for 3 or 4 months in a year. And then rest of the time they would devote every evening either on going to pilgrimage place sites, or they would hear the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, and they would immerse themselves in the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So much so that when they would go to sleep, they would get the dreams of the pastimes which they are hearing. Such a nice life. These days in dreams, what is coming, I don't want to discuss also. Mostly it is very sorry state kind of dreams. So much material anxiety is there. So in the morning, one kid asked me that although Lord Ram has taken birth in the Surya dynasty, Sun dynasty, why is he called as Ramchandra? The answer is, of course, there are various answers, but the most reasonable and the most relevant answer is to understand this point first, that we all have a forest fire of material existence burning in our heart. There is nobody in this world who's free of anxieties. I'm yet to meet a person in my life who says that they have no anxieties. Always everybody is anxious. How to do this, how to do that, when will that be done, will this be done, will I get it tomorrow, will I not get it tomorrow, where to go, where not to go, how to make it, how not to make it, whether my son will listen to me or whether my daughter will listen to me, whether my spouse will listen to me, whether my friends will listen to me. So much anxiety is there always. And just like forest fire, it does not need any creation. It gets started on its own. Similarly, these anxieties also develop on their own. Whether you are a young student or whether you are an old man or whether you are whatever. And there is no solution to this. You can't call a fire brigade and put off a forest fire. You can't take buckets of water from your house and put off a forest fire. The only way it can be put off is heavy shower of rains for days together, which you cannot control. So Lord Ram's name, form, qualities and pastimes are compared to be the nectarian shower of the moon rays coming in a full moon night. Just like when you go on a full moon night after a hard day's labor, and when you take out a chair and you sit, you feel so soothing, you feel so cool, you feel so pleasant looking at the moon and the firmament of the stars and the cool breeze which blows on every Purnima generally. So you feel very happy. It's not completely dark and it's soothing. So it is said that when we hear the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord, the forest fire of material existence is extinguished by the moon-like presence of Sri Ramchandra. So he creates a soothing moon-like presence in our heart. In fact, the Acharyas say that the presence of the Supreme Lord in the core of our hearts is not compared to one moon. It is compared to millions of moons. Koti Chandra, Shoshitala. So millions of moons come together. Imagine what kind of coolness and beauty and piece of existence it will bring. That entire source of happiness is locked and present in one personality, that is Lord Rama. So therefore, it's very suitable to call him as Ramchandra. Okay. When Sri Ramchandra was taken away by Vishwamitra, Vishwamitra has his own history. But after he became a devotee, Lord Ram came in his life. It was his urgent, ardent desire that somehow he should engage in serving the Lord. So he came to know that Lord Ram has appeared on this planet and it's time for him to serve. So he went there, he asked Dashrath, that I need the help of your son to get rid of some demons so that I can peacefully perform the Yuga Dharma, the sacrifices. He actually, the Acharyas explained that he actually didn't need the help of Lord Ram. He himself was competent enough to just grunt a little bit with anger, and simply by his grunt, the demons would die. But he still wanted Lord Ram because he was waiting to be enamored and waiting to be completely charmed to see Lord Ram in action. So he took away Lord Ram, and after the demons were killed, he was knowing that he had a very important task of taking Lord Ram to the Swaymvar of Janak. So Swaymvar of Mother Sita in the court of Janak. There are poems written behind this pastime of how Lord Ram comes to Mithila and how he got married to Mother Sita. This has happened millions of years ago, but still people are reciting it. So I was reciting one shloka the other day. I was forgetting it. I'll try one more time today and see if I'll remember. This is the description of Krishna and Balram entering the court of, or the arena of Kamsa, where he's supposed to fight, where they are supposed to fight the wrestlers. So, Mallanam Ashnernam Naravaraihi Strinam Smaro Murtiman Gopanam Swajanokshatam Shiti Bhujam Swapitro Shishuhu Mrityur Bhojapate Virada Vidusham Tattvam Param Yoginam Vrishninam Paradeviteti Vidito Rangam Gatas Sagrajaha. This is a description of Lord Krishna and Balram. We'll reduce the volume. This is the description of Krishna and Balram entering the arena of Kamsa when they have been invited to Mathura to fight against the wrestlers. Try to sit peacefully and hear without making much movements, and always come and try to sit as forward as you can so that people who come later, they may not be able to disturb you because you are properly seated. Yes. Mallanam Ashner Nrinam Naravarehi Strinam Smaro Murtiman. So when Lord Krishna is entering, the Mallas or the wrestlers, they are able to see him like a thunderbolt. Because when Lord Krishna would strike someone, the effect was like getting a thunderbolt. How many of you have been hit by a thunderbolt till now? That is the effect when Lord Krishna hits you. Mallanam Ashner. The wrestlers, Chanur, Mushtik, Shal, Toshal, there are 5. I remember the name of 4. They are all great wrestlers. Nobody could defeat them in this world. Kamsa went and personally defeated them. On the condition that if I defeat you, you have to become my servants. Actually, sometimes in order to understand the true glory of the hero, we need to know the background of the villain properly. All these demons which Kamsa was sending, great demons, they were actually defeated by Kamsa before. Whether it is Aghasur, Trinavat, Bakasur or Putana or that horse demon Arishtasur, bull demon Arishtasur. Anybody, all the great demons whom we hear of, Kamsa actually went and conquered them, defeated them, and made them his slave. So this Chanur, Mushtik, Shal, Toshal, who were world conquerors, they were single-handedly defeated by Kamsa. And Kamsa ordered them that you have to fight with Krishna. So when these world conquerors who were defeated by none other than except Kamsa till now in their life, when they saw Krishna coming, they felt that thunderbolt is coming. They didn't feel like this when they saw Kamsa. They felt like this when they saw Krishna. Okay. So they saw Lord Krishna as a thunderbolt. Mallanam Ashnendranam Naravaraihi. So the kings who were there, they saw him that he is the best amongst all the administrators, all the rulers. Strinam Smaro Murtiman, all the women or the feminine people who were present there, they saw Lord Krishna as the most attractive Cupid which they have ever seen in their whole existence. The same personality, same way he is walking into the arena, but people, different people, they are looking at him in a different way. That's the potency of Supreme Lord. Strinam Smaro Murtiman, Gopanam Swajane. So the people of Vrindavan who had come here to see in Mathura the great happenings happening in the arena of Kamsa, they were seeing him as he is our own person, apne gaon ka aadmi, he is our village person. He is our just best friend. Kshato Gopanam Swajano Kshiti Bhujam. The corrupt people were seeing him as the greatest chastiser. And they were running, they were feeling afraid that, oh, till now we have supported Kamsa, now our chastiser has come. Swapitaro Shishuhu. When Devaki and Vasudev were seeing Krishna and Balram, they were thinking, my infant milk drinking child is just trying to walk in front of me. Shishu. They were looking, although they were 10, 11 years old, but they were thinking that this is just an infant child. Maybe he'll fall down, maybe he needs some milk, maybe he needs some food. Mrityur Bhojapate, when Kamsa, who is the ruler of Bhoj province, when he saw Krishna and Balram, he saw them as death. He could see Krishna when he was coming, he saw my death is coming. Virad Avidusham. When the idiots, when the people who think that God is not a person, he is just some Brahma Jyoti or some light, the Bhagavatam calls them as Avidusham. Vidusha means somebody who is very intelligent. Avidusham means one who is not very intelligent. So the people who are less intelligent, who think that the supreme absolute truth is some impersonal form which has no name and no shape, they have been called as Avidusham. And when they saw, they felt that that impersonal existence of that supreme Brahman, which has no name and no form and no qualities, has actually taken a form and has come in front of us. Tattvam Param Yoginam. When the devotees, when they saw Lord Krishna, they said, here is the ultimate truth. The supreme absolute truth is walking in front of us. They had no doubts. Tattvam. They have been called as Param Yoginam, the best amongst all the yogis. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmanaha shraddhavan bhajate yomam samayukta tamo mataha. After describing Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, Arjuna asks this question to Krishna, that amongst all these people who are practicing, the Karma Yogis, the Jnana Yogis, the Dhyan Yogis, the Ashtanga Yogis, and the Bhakti Yogis, who is most superior? The answer Krishna gives, Yoginam api sarvesham, amongst all the yogis, madgaten antaratmana. One who is always thinking of me, never forgetting me, offering obeisances to me, worshipping me, and is my devotee. Madgaten antaratmana. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam, with a lot of love and devotion, who does bhaja, who does bhakti to me. Samayukta tamo mataha. In my opinion, he is the highest and the best. Still, there is a lot of discussion. I don't know why people still say that I will stick to Dhyan Yoga section. I will stick to Ashtanga Yoga section. When Krishna, the author of Bhagavad Gita, the originator of Bhagavad Gita himself says that Bhaktya Mama Vijanati, only my devotees can understand me. But still people feel that, okay, it's okay not to understand Krishna. Anyways, the goal of life is just to, delay my old age. So let me just stick to some other process. Krishna is saying that my devotees are topmost. He's saying only my devotees can understand me. The goal of life, Krishna has said, is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender it to me. He's telling this is the goal of life, but still people have confusion. In one place I went, they were so blasphemous that they said that those who cannot do anything in life, they should take to Bhakti Yoga. Those who are not qualified for Gyan, those who are not qualified for Dhyan, those who cannot do any work in life, they should take to Bhakti Yoga. They do not understand that Bhakti Yoga is meant for Tattvam Param Yoginam. It is not meant for ordinary people. Krishna cannot be accessed by people who have material desires in their heart, which these karmis, yogis and jnanis do have. So Krishna is not somebody very cheap. So that point only was being explained in this verse of Bhagavatam also. Tattvam param yoginam vrishninam paradevateti viduto. When the Yadavas, when they saw Krishna entering, they saw that he is our worshipable deity who is walking in. We should worship him the rest of our life from now. The 18 Yadava clans, which were chased away by Kamsa from the land of Mathura, they had secretly come in hiding to see, because they also knew that today Kamsa is going to get killed. So when they saw, they thought that, okay, he is our savior and from today we should worship him. Rangam Gata Sagraja. In that arena, Sa Agrajataha, along with his brother, elder brother, Agraja, he was walking in. So similarly, when Lord Ram was walking in, it amazed me when I was reading, when I was hearing one of the chaupais of Ramcharitmanas. Almost the same description is there when Lord Ram is entering the Swaymvar arena of Mother Sita. Almost the same description is there. That the kings, the corrupt kings, they are saying, oh, our chastiser is coming. All the friends of Mother Sita and all the other ladies in the court of Janak, they were all uncontrollably smiling and giggling and nudging each other to see Lord Ram. All the great sages who were sitting in the assembly of Janak, they were saying, here is the supreme absolute truth which is walking and coming. And all the parents, they were thinking that, who is this child? Till now I was thinking that my child is most beautiful and most lovable. But I'm somehow forgetting my child after seeing this child. Like that. Almost same description is there. And then they come and get seated. They sit down. Everybody is thinking that, why did Janak invite us? Even without knowing what is going to happen in future, many of them have understood this is the only person who is fit enough to marry Sita. Actually, why did Janak put a great a challenge like this, that anybody who can lift the bow of Shiva only can marry my daughter? That bow of Shiva was not lifted by anybody except Parshuram before. Why did he put such a condition? And the mother of Sita, what was her name? Sunaina. She was almost always in anxiety that my husband has gone crazy. He has put up a condition which nobody can fulfill, and I am so unfortunate, and my daughter is more unfortunate than me, that she's, for the rest of her life, she is going to sit here only. Actually, Janak Maharaj had seen something which nobody else had seen, and that's why he had put this condition. One day, Janak Maharaj was having a walk in the courtyard of his palace, and he saw Mother Sita and her friends playing. And then it was time for deity worship for Mother Sita, and she needed a garland. But there were no flowers there. At that time, Mother Sita, as a small child, 7-8 years old, she just got up. She went into the room where this dhanush was kept. She picked it up. She stringed it. She took a bow, shot an arrow at a tree. One branch fell down. Along with that, some flowers fell down. She put the bow back and she made a garland of those flowers and offered it to the deity. When Janak saw this, he thought that who is this girl who can lift the bow of Shiva? Now, according to the scriptures, it is the duty of a father to give away his daughter in charity to someone who is more qualified, or at least as much as same qualification as the daughter, not less. If you give away your daughter in charity to someone who is unqualified, you have to go through a lot of suffering in this life and next. So that day, Janak Maharaj secretly took a vow that only another person who can lift this bow of Shiva, which generally requires 300 to 400 men to lift, only another person who can lift this is suitable enough to get married to my daughter. So therefore, he made this condition and he did not reveal this secret to anybody. But Valmiki has revealed it in Valmiki Ramayana. So Lord Ram, when he came, he was so beautiful that everybody could forget everything else except Lord Ram. I don't know why this Janak Swaymvar is coming. I thought of speaking some other topic, but this Janak Swaymvar is coming. Since the last 3 days, since when Lord Ram has entered Mithila, nobody is talking. Everybody is talking that we have seen 2 princes who are walking around in the city of Mithila. And everybody, all the shopkeepers are discussing about them. All the friends of Mother Sita are discussing about them. All the ladies and all the gents, everybody is simply, the only point of discussion is that we have seen 2 princes. Somebody said, oh, I saw their lotus feet. It was like that. Somebody said, oh, we saw their dhoti. It was like that. Oh, you saw their broad chest. You saw their thin lion-like waist. You saw their forehead. You saw their nose. You saw their bows. You saw the marks of war on their body. You saw their hair. It was bluish, blackish, filled with dust. So simply this only discussion was going on. The Mother Sita was constantly hearing this from the last 3 days. And she was thinking, who is this person who has come here? And of course, there are some more details. But coming to the, when Lord Ram entered with Vishwamitra in that assembly, Vishwamitra told the Prince Ram, that Vatsa Rama Dhanur Pashya, my dear son Ram, go and see the Dhanush. So today I'm trying to highlight the aspect of a disciple or a student, how an ideal student should be from this pastime of Lord Ram. He told Vatsa Ram Dhanur Pashya, my dear Lord Ram, just go and see this Dhanush. My dear son Ram, go and see this Dhanush. So what did Lord Ram do? He went, he saw the Dhanush, he picked it up, he instringed it, he broke it, he got married to Mother Sita and came back. So this is a first-class student or a first-class disciple. He understands the mood and the mind and the mission of the teacher or the Acharya. The real inheritance which you can have in your life is to inherit the mood and mission of your spiritual master. And Lord Ram was perfect at that. He could understand the mood and the mind of his guru. So therefore, he was a first-class disciple. A second-class disciple, what he will do? Vatsa Ram Dhanur Pashya. Then he will go, oh, my spiritual master has asked me to go and see the Dhanush. I have to do it to the point. I will go, I will see the Dhanush, I will come back and I will report. That, my dear sir, my dear teacher, you asked me to see, this is how I saw it, it's golden in color, it's very big, it's like this, it's like that, these are the details, these are the flowers around it. Please be happy with this information. And the guru will think, okay, I need to tell him more. And a third-class disciple will say, why should I go? Who do you think I am? And who do you think you are? Everything I will only do. Sometimes you should also do something. Sometimes you should also go and tell me something. What kind of a teacher you are? This is a third-class disciple. So we should assess what kind of a student we are in the realm of spirituality. Especially those who are aspiring students in the spiritual life. They must have, by the mercy of Krishna, got connected to some teacher, some guide, some spiritual master. They should understand, are they really fit enough to receive complete mercy from them? Lord Ram was so great as a student that any teacher whom he came across would want to bless him and give him all their mercy. So this is the quality of a great student. He attracts mercy. A great student attracts the mercy. Anybody who would meet them, they would feel that, okay, let me bless him. He's such a nice person. He has gone out of his way to help me, assist me. May all my blessings be with him. That is the character of Lord Rama. He would attract everybody, including his teachers. What's Ram Dhanur Pasha? This is one of the qualities which we should all learn. We all have to be very, very alert in our spiritual life. So at this point, now that we have understood the glorious quality of Lord Ram as a student, we also saw how he's entering the arena of Janak Maharaj. And we will see sometime other details of what happened there. But before that, we would like to invite some of the divine Vaikuntha kids who are here. They have very nicely learned the Nam Ramayan, the 108 names of Lord Ram, and they want to recite it for the pleasure of all devotees assembled here. And let's learn from their innocence and simplicity, and let's learn how beautifully they are absorbed in reciting the holy names of the Lord. So I invite them, and it'll just take 1 minute to make the setup. I request the devotees to be patient. Let's hear the glorification of the Lord, and then we'll have a short discussion on the Nam Ramayan also, and we'll continue our further discussions after that. Hare Krishna. No, the camera can be turned.
पदरां ततसोऽग्रीवाभीष्टदरां गर्वितवालिसमारकरां वानरदूतदेशकरां हितकरलक्ष्मणसंयुतरां राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीताराम कपिवर संतत संस्कृतराम तद्गति विघ्न ध्वंसकराम सीता प्राणाधारकराम दुष्टदशानन दुष्टितराम शिष्य हनुमद्भूषितराम सीता वैदिक शिष्ट हनुमद्भूषितराम सीता वैदिक काकावनराम कृतचूडामणिदर्शनराम कपिवर वचन स्वासितराम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीताराम राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीताराम रावण निधन प्रस्थितराम वानर सैन्य समावृतराम रावण निधन प्रस्थितराम वानर सैन्य समावृतराम शोषित सरिदीशार्षितराम विभीषणा भयदायकराम पर्वत सेतु निबंधकराम कुंभकर्ण शिरछेदकराम राक्षस सांग विमर्दकराम अहिमहि रावण चारण राम संवृत दशमुख रावण राम विधि बहुमुख सुर संस्तुत राम अस्थित दशरथ वीक्षित राम सीता दर्शन मोदित राम अभिषेक्त विभीषणानुत गणराम सकल स्वीय समानतराम रत्नलसद्भितहस्तितराम पट्टाभिषेकालङ्कृतराम पार्थिवकुलसम्मानितराम विभीषणापितरङ्गकराम केशकुलानुग्रहकरराम सकल जीव संरक्षकराम समस्त लोकाधारकराम राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता राम 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 जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता राम
राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता राम 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 जय राजा राम 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 जय सीता
आगत मुनिगण संस्तुतराम विश्रुत दशकन्थोद्भवराम
आगत मुनिगण संस्तुतराम विश्रुत दशकन्थोद्भवराम
सीतालिङ्गण निवृतराम नीति सुरक्षित जनपदराम
सीतालिङ्गन निवृतराम सुरक्षित जनपदराम
विपिन त्याजित जनकचराम कलिदलवनासुरवदराम
विपिनत्राजित जनपदराम कालिन्दलवनासुरवदराम
स्वर्गत शम्भुक संस्तुतराम स्वतनय कुशलवनन्दितराम
स्वर्गत शम्भुक संस्तुतराम स्वतनय कुशलवनन्दितराम
अश्वमेध क्रतुदीक्षितराम कालवेदित सुरवदराम
अश्वमेध क्रतुदीक्षितराम कालावेदित सुरपदराम
अयोध्या का जनमुक्तिदराम
अयोध्यमुक्तिदराम
सिद्धिमुख विबुधानन्दकराम तेजोमय निज रूपकराम
श्रीमुखविबुधानन्दकराम तेजोमय निजरूपकराम
संस्कृतिबन्ध विमोचकराम धर्मस्थापन तत्परराम
संस्कृतिबन्धविमोचकराम धर्मस्थापनतत्परराम
धर्तिपरायण मुक्तिदराम सर्वचराचर पालकराम
भक्तिपरायण मुक्तिदराम सर्वचराचर पालकराम
सर्वभौम सीताराम राम राम जय राजा राम 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 जय सीताराम Hey, where is the girl? Yeah, where is Keshri? That girl. Oh, sorry.
अभी करेंगे तो फिर इसका एजेंडा भी इसको हो जाता है। Yes, yes. Hare Krishna. It's not proper. टेढ़ा आ रहा है. Hare Krishna. So we are very, very grateful to Supraja and Sandhya Matajis for having sung the Nam Ramayan. They are wondering why I call them Mataji. That's another topic of discussion. Good that you gave me that expression. And I'm also very thankful to Ashwini Prabhu, who gave such nice accompany to both these Matajis and mothers sitting here. So actually, for Supriya Mataji and Supraja Mataji and Sandhya Matajis, this is the culture. You can remove the garland. You are sitting a little uncomfortable. It is the culture of Vedic tradition that everybody except your wife you have to address as mother. Matravat paradareshu paradravyeshu lostravat atmavat sarva bhuteshu yah pashyati sapandita. The definition of education is this, that if a person is cultured enough, sense controlled enough to call every other woman except his wife as their mother, then that is education. Now, because this culture and this samskar is lacking and it is not taught in any school or college, unfortunately, these days in schools, colleges, and universities, it is taught that the more indecently you dress and the more you freely mix with the opposite gender, that much more advanced and intelligent you are. Is this taught? Yes. This is our culture. It has become like that. We are aping the Western culture so badly that now we feel that the more indecently we dress and the more freely we mix with the opposite gender, that is our advancement. And so therefore, now the culture has become that except my mother, nobody else is my mother. And everybody is like my property whom I can enjoy. So therefore, this is the culture, the Vedic tradition, that whether it is a small child or whether it is an old lady, if that person is not my wife, then she is my mother. There is no Behenji concept also. This Behenji is also a degraded concept. So therefore, the Vedic culture means you are my mother. Although you are very young to me, but I will address you as my mother. This is Vedic culture. And you have to accept it. Maybe your father can explain it more. So this is the Vedic culture. And now I'm inspired by two of the verses of this Nam Ramayana, which I have posted in the chat box here for those who are online, and for those who are physically here, I'll recite it for you. So we can discuss and try to understand the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Lord Ram based on these two verses. One of the verses is Gridhradipata Samsevita Ram Panchavati Tata Susthita Ram. So Gridhadipa Samsevita. So the word Gridha or Gidha means vulture. And the king of vultures was Jatayu. And Gridhadipa Samsevita Ram. So Lord Ram was served by Jatayu. Now this in itself is a very, very great activity which has happened in the entire of Ramayana. Jatayu was actually the friend of Dashrath Maharaj. He was so old. So when he met Lord Ram, immediately the moment he came to know that Lord Ram is the son of my dear friend Dashrath, immediately he became filled with paternal affection for Lord Ram. Lord Ram and Lakshman were warriors and they were used to difficult circumstances in life. They had undergone a strict regime of disciplinary training in the Gurukul. But that was not the case with Mother Sita. They were always afraid for her that how will we protect her. So the next line says, Panchavati Tata Susthitaram. So there were 5 great banyan trees, Vatavriksha, which were very, very old. Nobody knew how old they were, and they were extremely tall also. So much so that the entire area became famous by the name Panchavati. It was on the southern side of Dandakaranya, which was, although Dandakaranya was filled with demons, okay. What is it? 4583. 4583 Honda Jazz. It is in the wrong place. It is causing inconvenience to the nearby people and the villagers and also the other people who are wanting to park their cars. 4583. Okay. The owner is here and he's taking the responsibility. What I was speaking about? Yeah, Panchavati. So Panchavati Tata Susthita Ram. So it was on the south, although the entire Dandakaranya was filled with demons, but this southern side of Panchavati seemed to be a little bit free from the demoniac influence. And Lord Ram decided to stay there, and Jatayu agreed that I will help you. I will, like a father-in-law, I will also try to protect Mother Sita. You people do not have the entire responsibility. Don't be so much worried. Live your life. You are my sons. Be happy. But he was doing this in the mood of a servant also, because Jatayu was fully cognizant of the fact that Lord Ram is Shuddha Brahma Paratpara. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. And Mother Sita was always very grateful to Jatayu, and always she would approach Jatayu as father-in-law. She would say that in the absence of Dashrath, you are like Dashrath for me. Now, a vulture is not a very honorable creature. A vulture eats horrible things. A vulture, generally people do not want to associate because it is always preying behind the carnivorous stuff. Imagine if you are in some pristine temple of India and if a vulture comes and sits on the pujari, then the pujari will say, oh my God, I have to have bath again. It's not a very honorable creature. But the fact that Lord Ram decided to take service from him itself proves that real service begins, real service to the Lord begins above the bodily conception of life. If you look at the bodily situation of a person, there are many people who are unfit to render devotional service. And if you look at the bodily position of a person, some people seem to be fit, but they are unfit in the eyes of the Lord. For example, Duryodhan. He is the son of a king. He is a king in himself. He has all the riches, all the diplomats of the world, they support him. He has all the money. He has all the royal lineage with him. But when he made a very nice 1008 items for treating Krishna in Hastinapur for lunch, Krishna didn't accept it. Duryodhan belongs to the Bharat dynasty. He is very clean. He has no bad habits as such. The son of a king, to be king. The whole world supports him, at least on paper. Yes.
4530 silver Honda.
4530 silver Honda is also disturbing people. 4530 silver Honda. So these disturbances which are coming, they are actually bona fide. Even when the Srimad Bhagavatam discourse was going on, Indra came and disturbed like this. He said that why all this discussion is happening and why so much confusion is there. See, the agenda is that Parikshit has been cursed and he is about to die. Look, I have nectar with me. Let's give this to Parikshit and he'll live for time immemorial. And then let's wrap up this Bhagavatam discussion and let's all be happy. So at that time, Shukdev Goswami told Indra that you're not fit to be in this assembly. Please get lost. The agenda here is not to save someone from death, which is, by the way, inevitable. My dear Indra, you will also die one day. The agenda here is to understand what is the right consciousness which one should have at the time of death and what is the foremost duty of a person at the time of death. So therefore, Bhagavatam discussion continued despite all disturbances. And whenever disturbance comes, we should understand, just like the Jagannath Rath, sometimes stops and moves, sometimes stops and moves, that is considered bona fide. So similarly, if in Bhagavatam Katha, Krishna Katha, if some disturbances come, that is also bona fide. So don't mind it. So coming back to this Panchavati Tatha Susthitaram, the vulture is not a very honorable creature. And Duryodhana seemed to be physically very honorable, very coming from a very great heritage, Bharat dynasty, belongs to the Aryan race. But Krishna rejected him and went to the house of a person, Vidura, whose mother was a Shudrani, a fourth class woman. So Vidura is not having a royal lineage. Vidura is not coming from, physically speaking, a very great background. Generally, those who are Shudras, they do not have their senses under their control. They do abominable things because their guna and their karma, not necessarily their birth, but because the people who are Shudras, they carry such samskaras from their previous life that it is very evident that their guna and karma is not very great. So therefore, in the previous ages where there was actually good population, people wouldn't associate much with the Shudras. But in Kali Yuga, Kalau Shudra Sambhava, everybody is a Shudra. Because nobody has been begotten by Gardan Samskaras. Nobody knows the Bhagavad Gita or the Bhagavatam. Nobody knows what's the purpose of life. Therefore, everybody's senses are not controlled. So there, the Bhagavatam says, Kalau Shudra Sambhava, everybody is a Shudra. But in those ages, the Supreme Personality of Godhead associating with the Shudra was a big thing. Vidura. He was not someone whom everybody would associate with very freely, but Krishna went to his house, accepted lunch, stayed there, spent night, gave his feet to the laps, kept his feet on the laps of Vidura, and Vidura massaged it for a long time and had discussions. So this proves that bhakti is beyond the bodily designation. Lord Ram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ram, the Supreme Personality of God, had accepted service from a vulture. This shows that that vulture was also beyond the bodily conception of life. And Lord Ram is also beyond the bodily conception of life. So therefore, Mother Sita also was very grateful to Jatayu. Now when Ravan, we saw that incident, when Ravan was kidnapping Mother Sita, we saw him. That's another incident. Few other names come how Shurpanakha was treated. So Ravan came in disguise and he stole away Mother Sita. Jatayu knew that he is no match to Ravan. He is an old vulture and Ravan is a demon who cannot be defeated by demigods like Indra. But he knew that Ravan had tried to kidnap Mother Sita in a particular muhurta. And generally any activity done in that muhurta would tend out to be materially successful. So Jatayu decided that I know I cannot stop this kidnapping. Let me somehow delay this. Let me somehow engage Ravan in battle so that the time gets, I know I'm going to be killed, but let me somehow delay his departure from here. Let another muhurta pass so that according to the constellations in the sky, and the next muhurta means anybody who does any activity in the next muhurta is supposed to be doomed because of that activity. So Jatayu decided that if I cannot help, at least I should become some instrument in this pastime of the Lord so that Ravan will understand that whatever he has done will bring his doom. So therefore, knowing that he can never win, he still engaged in battle. And the result of that is that today we are talking about Jatayu and Ramayana discusses about Jatayu. Lord Ram was okay not performing the final rites for his father. He left Dashrath in Ayodhya and Dashrath passed away. But Lord Ram personally performed the final rites of Jatayu. This shows the great position of Jatayu. He's not an ordinary personality. He is a symbol of the fact that while in the path of, in the realm of rendering devotional service to Krishna or to God, one should not be very worried about the results. One should only be concerned what pleases God. There should be no sense of personal security in the realm of devotional service. Duryodhana thought of personal security, so therefore he didn't please Krishna. But Arjuna was earlier thinking of personal security. How can I kill my grandfather? How can I kill my nephews? And how can I kill my brothers? That is a sense of personal security. But when he gave up his own opinion and picked up the opinion of Krishna and decided that the only thing which matters is to please Krishna, Arjuna became glorious. This is the essence of Karma Yoga. This is the essence of Bhakti Yoga also. So, Anya Bhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadya Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhakti Ruttam. So the process of devotional service or the consciousness of Jatayu was so great, he was thinking that let me give up all other desires. Jatayu was thinking, okay, I have an elder brother, Sampati, I have not met him. Let me give up that desire to meet him. Later on, Hanuman meets him. Jatayu had so many other things to do. Jatayu was the king of the vultures. As a king, he had so many other responsibilities to perform. But he thought, Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, let me give up all the other desires except the desire to please Lord Rama and help him or assist him in some way. Jnana Karmadya Navritam, to hell with everything else. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam. I will work in such a way which is recommended in the scriptures and also highlighted by the previous acharyas, which will please Krishna with a desire to please Krishna. See, I was talking about the arena of Kamsa, where we saw that Krishna was walking with his elder brother and trying to fight with the mallas, with the wrestlers. So while fighting, Krishna was getting very much pleased. Whenever the wrestlers would hit him, he would laugh and smile. He was enjoying the Veera Rasa. But that cannot be counted as bhakti. That cannot be the consciousness of the wrestlers cannot be equated with the consciousness of Jatayu. Because these wrestlers in Kamsa's arena, although they were pleasing Krishna, but they did not have a desire to please Krishna. But Jatayu, seemingly he was getting defeated, seemingly he was getting killed, but that defeat became the greatest victory of his life, where he got the personal attention of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rama, who personally cremated him and personally ensured his home back to Godhead. Such kind of great fortune even Dashrath couldn't receive. So Jatayu, with a desire to please the Lord, sacrificed his life. And this is the purpose of our life. Life is simply meant to be used for the pleasure of the Lord. Look at the gopis of Vrindavan. What did they get? Some may say that they got a lifetime of separation, that's all. That is not the case. There are some inner truths to that. And there are some other higher aspects to that. But yeah, in normal language, if we speak, yeah, they got that. But then Krishna was always thinking about the gopis. Krishna was not always thinking about others, but he was definitely all the time thinking about the gopis. Whenever somebody would come from the side of Vrindavan or Gokul, he would get tears in his eyes and he would ask, how is Mother Yashoda? How is Nanda Baba? How are the cows? How are the gopis? How are the gopas? He was so much concerned about them. So would you like to rather be close to the Lord and remember the Lord less, or be far away from the Lord but remember him every moment? Which one would you choose? Option A or option B? How many would choose option A? Let me be close to the Lord and forget that he's next to me also sometimes. Bhagwan idhar hi hai. He's here. Or option B, I would rather like to remain away from the Lord, rise up in my love to him in that pain of separation and not forget him even for a moment. Which do you think is a higher experience of love? A or B? How many say A? Please raise your hands. Also online, how many of you say A is a higher experience of love? Okay. How many of you say B is a higher experience of love? Okay, full house physically. What about online? Only few people are raising your hands. Others, what about that? Yes. So indeed, love in separation is a higher experience of love. So physically, seemingly, externally, it appears that the gopis are the losers, but they are the greatest winners. Because Krishna is all Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantascha Dridhavata. They were always engaged in chanting the holy names of Krishna, always engaged in talking about the pastimes of Krishna, always thinking of Krishna, always becoming devotees of Krishna, always offering obeisances to Krishna, and always worshipping Krishna. That was not the case with others. So similarly, it appears that Jatayu lost. But in the eyes of God, Jatayu is the ultimate winner. Now, who would you like to be? Would you like to be a world conqueror like Alexander and be a loser in the eyes of the Lord? Or would you like to be a Jatayu, who in the eyes of a materialist is a loser? But actually, Krishna considers him, or Lord Ram considers him to be his dearmost devotee. Whose opinion matters? The opinions of the camels, dogs, asses, and donkeys matter, or the opinion of God matters? If you think God's opinion matters, please raise your hand. This is called intelligence. If the whole world is praising you, if the whole world is glorifying you, but if Krishna doesn't care for you, then your existence is wasted. But if the whole world is defying you, spitting at you, throwing stones at you, but if Krishna is admiring you, that is your victory. And this is what Lord Ram taught to the entire world through the example of Jatayu. So that is what is this verse of Nam Ramayana also says. Gridha Deepa Samasevitaram Panchavati Tata Susthitaram. So the next aspect of this verse says Panchavati. But actually Jatayu, I want to glorify more a little bit. Mother Sita was so much attached to Jatayu that in the whole concept of her being kidnapped, in the whole pastime of her being kidnapped, she was not so sorry that she was kidnapped, but she was very sorry that Jatayu was killed. When Mother Sita was recovered and Lord Ram and Sita were actually in Ayodhya, and the whole of Ayodhya was celebrating, and people were throwing various colors in the air. Some people were throwing the red color in the air. As soon as she would see the red color, she would remember that splash of blood of Jatayu, which flew in the air as Ravan chopped off one of his wings. And simply by seeing that celebration, all she could do was think about Jatayu, feel grateful to Jatayu, pray for Jatayu, bless Jatayu. So this is the consciousness of the eternal associate of God. If we want to become eternal associates of God, then the first qualification which we need to inculcate is become grateful in life. Mother Sita was always grateful to Jatayu. She considered that today, if she is back in Ayodhya, it is the result of Jatayu's sacrifice. The word sacrifice doesn't mean put a lot of 1 kg ghee in fire. The word sacrifice means do an act with an intention to please God, which actually pleases God. Every activity which is done with an intention to please Krishna and which actually is meant for pleasing Krishna according to the scriptures is a sacrifice. And sacrifice makes one glorious. Sacrifice makes the pure souls purer. So that is the great advantage, or that is the great contribution of Jatayu. Gridhra Deepa Samasevitaram Panchavati Tata Susthitram. So this concept of Lord Ram reciting in Panchavati is also full of instructions. Lord Ram, who is he? He is the king of Ayodhya. He is the to-be king of Ayodhya. And he is the son of a great king, Dashrath. All his life he has been a prince. And everybody loves Ram so much that the moment he raises his finger, 15 people are around him. What do you want? He was about to be coronated. And he was walking in, and then he was just informed that you are not being coronated. Instead, you have to go to the forest for 14 years. He was okay. His facial expression only didn't change. He was blissful earlier also. He was blissful later also. And when he went to the forest, he could have asked his father that, you see, Kulvadhu Sita is coming with me. Okay, I and Lakshman have been banished. What about Janak Sutta, Sita? She is not banished. If she is coming, then you should send a cavalry of army with me, and they should make a tent house in the forest wherever I want, and they should bring whatever I want, all fruits and all kinds of, luxuries. It should accompany me. But Lord Ram didn't do that. The prince of the entire world chose to do all his work on his own in a forest, and he resided in a simple place called Panchavati with a lot of simplicity and with a lot of humility. So this highlights this character or this activity of Lord Ram, Panchavati Tata Susthita Ram. This highlights the necessity of a simple living and high thinking. We should not unnecessarily complicate our life, putting on things in our life which actually don't matter to us, but which only makes the neighbors envious. Our entire life is basically meant for trying to impress those people whom we don't like. Isn't so? Isn't it so? I don't like such people, but I want to please them, impress them. So I will work hard for the next 20 years, take this EMI, take that loan, do this, do that. Unnecessarily, we complicate our lives. And when we approach them that, okay, why can't you chant Hare Krishna? Why can't you come to such and such yatras? Why can't you do this? Why can't you render devotional service? They will say, see, I am a helpless man. I am financially bankrupt. This problem is there, that problem is there, this shortcoming is there, that shortcoming is there. But Lord Ram is highlighting here that life should be simple so that you get more time for chanting Hare Krishna, you get more time for reading Bhagavatam, you get more time for associating with devotees, just like Lord Ram was doing. All he did was simply associate with the various sages who were there in the forest. Did he have any other agenda? Okay, occasionally, once in a while, when disturbances to the demons would come, he would kill them. But 99% of his time in Dandakaranya was spent in association with the sages. So Lord Ram proves that life should be simple enough and life should be constructed in such a way that we get more time for chanting Hare Krishna, more time for reading Bhagavatam, more time to associate with the devotees, more time to have 6 loving exchanges with the devotees. And not unnecessarily complicate your life. I'm a big man in my office. If I walk out of my office, the whole office will shut down. So therefore, I have to save the world, and therefore I cannot, do this devotional service. It is very unlike the nature of the Lord. It is very unlike, because the Lord likes to live a very simple life. Panchavati Tata Susthita Ram. And in the previous verse, it was mentioned, Virachita Nij Pitri Karma Karam Bharatarpita Nija Padukaram. So, Virachita Nija Pitri Karma Karam. So when Bharat came to meet Lord Ram and informed him that Father Dashrath has passed away, Lord Ram was in pain. He was sad. And he found it difficult to bear. But then, after he just controlled his emotions, actually the emotions which Lord Ram was exhibiting at that time was spiritual emotions. That cannot be compared to the emotions which we have. Generally, when somebody dies in the family, they become very distraught and they suffer, and sometimes they go crazy. They say that, where is God? If God is there, why this person died? Crazy questions they ask. Sometimes some people, they stop chanting Hare Krishna when they hear somebody has died. So generally we suggest that, okay, if some death occurs in the family, please read the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Then you will understand what is the purpose of life and how death is the most inevitable thing of life, in general. So the emotions which a materially attached person experiences when his father passes away cannot be compared to the emotions, spiritual emotions, which Lord Ram was experiencing, hearing the news of Dashrath's passing away. So he was swooning in separation from his father, who was also his devotee. So that is the qualification of becoming the father of God. Dashrath became the father of God to become a servant of Lord Rama. Mother Yashoda became the mother of Krishna to become a servant of Krishna. Nand Maharaj became a father of Krishna to become a servant of Krishna. This is the concept of devotional service. So Lord Ram was actually experiencing great separation from his devotee, who was acting as his father, Dashrath. But in order to set a good example, Virachata Nij Pitri Karamaka Ram, as soon as he understood that, okay, with that sloka of Bhagavad Gita which says, Yad Yadacharati Shreshthas Tattad Evetaro Janaha Sayat Pramanam Kurute Lokas Tad Anuvartate. Whatever activities a great man perform, common men follow. So Lord Ram knew that I have to set an example here. I can't be simply staying here discussing who will take the kingdom. I can't be engaging with Bharat for the next 5 days. My father has passed away. I need to do something. So in order to set the right example, he went to the nearby river and he offered Pinddan to his father. He offered the funeral rites for his father because he was the eldest son. And in those days, this is very important. It is still important. It's just that people don't understand the importance of performing funeral ceremony and proper rites of passage for the deceased and those who have passed away. It is our misfortune that we don't do that. That is why our ancestors also keep falling from their positions into hellish planetary systems, and we are responsible for that. So therefore, in Kali Yuga, it is predicted that in due course of time, no funeral rites or no passage rites will be performed, and everybody will go to will suffer, and after this life, they will also continue to suffer in hellish existences. They don't know the importance of Pinda. If due to some sinful activities, if one of your ancestors has ended up into a hellish planetary system, if you offer some prasad if you offer some bhoga to Krishna and perform the Pind rites, if you offer that prasad to them through the process of chanting the mantras, then that prasad actually goes to them. And when they accept that Krishna prasad, Vishnu prasad, then simply because you offered that Pinda, they get liberated, they get another material body and they continue their further existence, or else they go to higher planetary systems and their sufferings are reduced. So Pinda or passage rites, they are very important. And Lord Ram set an example. Although he had no paraphernalia with him, he had no brahmanas with him, he was not in a condition to offer passage rites to the king of this world, Dashrath, but he still did it. Because Yad Yad Acharati Shreshthas Tattad Evitaro Janaha. He did not let his emotions overpower his sense of duty. Virajita Nij Pitri Karamakaram Bharatar Pita Nij Padukaram. And Bharat was having a great discussion with him that, okay, what will happen? I'm not qualified enough to rule the kingdom, and I didn't want you to leave. Now people are criticizing me. There is a climate of criticism around me. You please come back, take back the kingdom. That is what father also wanted. So a great discussion happens, and then Lord Ram conveys that this is not what I want. And Bharat understands that irrespective of my opinion, if I actually want to please Lord Ram, I should follow what he says. I don't want to become the king, but if I become the king, that is what will please the Supreme Lord, so let me do it. So then he requested the Paduka of Lord Ram. Bharatar Pita Nija Paduka Ram. He said that, okay, as a sign, as a royal insignia of your presence, you please give me your Paduka. And your Paduka will be placed on the throne of Ayodhya, and those Padukas will be considered as the king of Ayodhya, and I will act as the servant of those Padukas, and on your behalf, I will do the administrative duties of a king for some time, until you return. Because Bharat was thinking that Lord Ram is not listening to me. Bharat was thinking that Lord Ram is not listening to me. Let me appeal to the Paduka of Lord Ram. The Padukas of Lord Ram, they are carrying Lord Ram. The Padukas of Lord Ram, they are carrying Lord Ram and they are taking care of the lotus feet of Lord Ram. And if they come to me, then it is like having the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Ram with me. And if this happens, then I will consider these Padukas to be more merciful. Like that, he started praying to the Padukas. Everything which is related to Krishna, everything which is related to Ram is spiritual. The name of the Lord is spiritual. The Padukas of the Lord are spiritual. The pastimes of the Lord are spiritual. The qualities of the Lord are spiritual. The form of the Lord is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. Okay, I'm getting distracted by this commotion. Can we try to reduce it as early as possible, please? The children are taking the entire hall over. Anyways, so just trying to wrap up this discussion. So Bharat was feeling very happy that he has received the Paduka of Lord Ram, and Lord Ram gave the Paduka to him for a very great purpose. He knew that Bharat would consider every aspect or every object related to Lord Ram as Lord Ram only. So therefore, in the scriptures, has been explained very nicely that who is Krishna? Krishna means the personality Krishna, the plenary expansions of Krishna, the paraphernalia of Krishna, the devotees of Krishna, and the dham of Krishna. All this means Krishna. Krishna doesn't mean just one single person or one single personality. Krishna means the dham of Krishna is also Krishna. The paraphernalia, that means the garland of Krishna, the dhoti of Krishna, the flute of Krishna is as good as Krishna. The prasad of Krishna is as good as Krishna. The name of Krishna is as good as Krishna. Please forgive me for using the term as good as. The name of Krishna is Krishna. The dham of Krishna is Krishna. The paraphernalia of Krishna is Krishna. The prasad of Krishna is Krishna. And a devotee or a practitioner who does not understand this concept ends up making offenses. So Bharat, Lord Ram was very confident that Bharat is a very mature practitioner and he would understand that there's no difference between the Paduka of Lord Ram and Ram. And he wanted this principle of devotional service to be taught to everybody in Ayodhya who have recently faced the separation of Lord Ram and they are thinking Lord Ram is not here. So he wanted Bharat to go and teach everybody in Ayodhya that there is no difference between the Paduka of Lord Ram and Lord Ram. So although we are struggling in separation from Lord Ram, but now that the Paduka is here, please consider that Lord Ram is also here through his Paduka. And just to condole and console the people of Ayodhya and console his brother, he gave away his Paduka. And those Padukas became the rulers of Ayodhya for the next 1 year. Actually, for the next 14 years. So these are some of the verses. Actually, every verse of Nam Ramayana, if we see, there is so much to discuss in that and so much to learn from that. But in the interest of time, I will pause today's discussion here. There's a small skit which is arranged by the kids here. If I will request the devotees to encourage the kids by taking part in this skit, by seeing it and by giving nice comments, appreciations, and applauses. But the discussion finishes here. We are now making preparations to offer 60, I don't know, we had targeted 64 bhoga items, but I think we have crossed 64 bhoga items. Okay, somebody is telling me that devotees have brought 90 bhoga items for the Lord. So we have crossed 90. I'll tell you the exact number. So I don't know what is the exact number. The volunteers have to tell. So more than 90 bhoga items for the Lord have been brought with love and devotion. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktya uparitam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If somebody offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. 2 times in this verse he says bhaktya, bhaktya. So he is highlighting that if Duryodhana offers me 1008 items, I will not take it. But if a devotee, after chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and by observing the necessary cleanliness, prepares something with love and devotion for me, I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is being served by unlimited Lakshmis in unlimited Vaikuntha planets, who is having millions and millions of delicacies to eat every moment, I will personally come down in ISKCON Kanamangala and I will accept these 90 items, and I'll be very happy to see this distributed amongst all the devotees. So thank you very much for very enthusiastically participating in this Swad Utsav. The fact that we have crossed the number 64 in itself means that we are very enthusiastic in our desire to serve the Lord. And enthusiasm in service means we have already received the mercy of the Lord. So on that note, I would like to close today's discussion. Wishing all of you a very, very happy Sri Ram Navami. I pray from the core of my heart that you may receive the blessings of Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. The pastimes are unlimited, but in material world, everything is limited with time. So all good things should come to an end. We end our discussion here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Thank you very much. There is a small skit now, and after that we'll offer these bhoga items to the Lord, and after that we'll partake prasad. Hare Krishna. So do we have the skit now? Okay, it's not a skit, sorry, it's a fancy dress competition. So are we having that now? Okay. So those who are online, if you want to see it, we'll help you with the camera. Hare Krishna.
Haribol! So next participant I would like to call Ayan. Ayan, he is also 5 years old. My name is Ayan. Today I'm going Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman. Jai. Next participant I would like to call Ira. 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 Okay, sorry. Ira. Okay. So next I would like to call Keshwi. Keshwi. Okay, okay. Ira. Hare Krishna. Hare Ram. Thank you. Next, I would like to call Aryama. Aryama. No. After her. Jai Shri Ram. 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 Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Next, I would like to call Keshwi.
My name is Sita. I am searching for Rama. Jai Ram.
Jai Ram.
Jai Sita.
Hare Krishna. Next, I would like to call Krish. Krish. Jump. Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Ram. Jump. Jai Shri Ram.
Hanuman. Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Ram. Hare Krishna. Krishna.
Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Next, I would like to call Krishna. Krishna.
I am Krishna.
Next, I would
Next, Dhriti, be ready. Dhriti, be ready. Hari bol.
Yes, like this. Okay, thank you.
Kiritam paiki. Next, I would like to call Dhriti. Shri, toilet to call him. Shri. No.
Hello everyone, my name is Sita. I'm 7 years old. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Next, I would like to call Sai Srivatsa. Ichinu one mic uddule. You do like that only, Shri. Mic uddule.
Hello everyone. Today I am dressed up as Hanuman. My name is Sai Srivatsa.
Okay, perform. Act cheyi. Hanuman like act cheyi. No practice chesnavu kada. Mic tise. Cheyi. Jai Hanuman. Sit down. Open your heart. Say.
Ram is in everyone's heart.
Where is Ram?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Shri, where is Ram? Where is Ram? There is Hanuman. Say.
There is Ram, there is Hanuman, there is Hanuman, there is Ram.
Jai. Thank you. Next, I would like to call Shreyoshi. Shreyoshi.
I dressed up like Sita. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari bol. Next, I would like to call Simontika. Simontika.
Hare Krishna. My name is Shimontika Bhomik. I dressed up like Radha. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari bol. Next, I would like to call Arav.
मैं हूँ दशानन। इस पूरे ब्रह्मांड में मेरे से और कोई ज्यादा शक्तिशाली नहीं है।
Hari bol.
मैं हूँ रावण।
Hari bol. Thank you. Next, I would like to call Isha. Isha.
Isha.
Isha.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Ram. I am Sita, the eternal concept and the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Ram. My life is dedicated in serving the Lord. I request everyone present here to dedicate their life and soul in serving the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol. Hare Bol. Next, I would like to call Nancy.
My name is Nancy. I'm 9 years old and I'm reciting a Bhagavad Gita today. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Atha Dvadashodhyayah. Arjuna Uvacha Evam Tatra Yuktaye Samparipasate Ye Chavyaksharavyaktam Tesham Yeyogavittamaha.
Call for group photo, all the fancy dress parts. A group photo.
Thank you.
Hari Bol. I would like to call all the participants for group photo. Please assemble near the deity. Let's all together chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for all these little children. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You can tell that Gopi Prabhu from the center is singing. No, how to tell.
It's getting late.
रामचंद्र भगवान की श्री राम राम नवमी महाउत्सव की भगवान की कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण Krishna
Hare